Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the funeral service, we ask if you have a cell phone or pager, if you could turn it to silent mode. Officiating is Rabbi Shannon Gelman.
Ashrei ha'ish asher lo halach be'atzas rishayim u'derech chata'im lo amad v'moshav leitzim lo yashav ki mitoras Adonai cheftso v'soraso yehegeh yomam v'layla v'aya ke'etz shasul al palgei mayim asher piryo yitain bito v'aleu lo yibo b'chol asher ya'aseh yatzliach lo chen harishayim ki im kamotz asher tidfenu ruach al kein lo yakumu rishayim b'mishpat v'chata'im ba'adas tzadikim, ki yodea Adonai derech tzadikim v'derech rishayim toved. Happy is the one who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, who does not stand on the path of the sinners, who does not sit among the jeering cynics. Instead, the Lord's teaching is all his desire, and he contemplates that teaching day and night. He is like a tree planted on streams of water, yielding fruit in its season, its leaves never withering. All it produces thrives. Not so the wicked. They are like chaff blown away by the wind. Therefore, the wicked will not endure judgment, nor the sinners among the righteous crowd. For the Lord cares for the way of the righteous, while the way of the wicked will be lost forever. Honored to recite Tehillim Chaf Gimel, Rabbi Aaron Liebtag, Rabbi of Kins North and Principal of Fasting Yeshiva High School.
Mizmar LeDavid Minos deshe yarbitzeni ame menuchos yanaleni nafshi yeshove yancheni v'maglei tzedek l'man shemo gam ki elech begeit tzamaves l'ira ra ki ata imadi shiftecha u'mishantecha hema yenachamuni taroch lefanai shelcha neged tzorai dishanta v'Hashem en roshi kosi revaya ach tov v'chesed yerdefuni kol yimei chayai v'shat b'veis Adonai li'orech yamim.
We are here this afternoon to pay a kavod acharon respects to Mrs. Elaine Stein, blessed memory, Ita Mindel Bas Aryaleib, Zichron Livracha. Beloved wife of the late Raymond Stein, devoted mother Susie and Mike Nussbaum, Jeff and Vika Stein, Laura and Jeremy Goltz. We also think about today Alana Beth Stein, blessed memory, Elaine's daughter, who tragically passed away at a very young age. Loving grandmother of Ari, Sarah Nussbaum, Natan Nussbaum, Esti, Ellie Bierig, Rayleigh and Daniel Cantor, Zoe Nussbaum, Lonnie Stein, Kayla Stein, Riley Stein, Ray Goltz, Josh and Sophia Goltz, Haley Goltz, Maddie Goltz, and proud great-grandmother to Lily, RJ, Zeke, Sally, Serena, Jack, Ozzy, Yakira, Abi, Ezra, Atara, and Tzvi, and friend to many. I'd like to call upon our son-in-law, Jeremy Goltz, to recite the Eshet Chayil.
As my mother would have wanted me to do it, I'm going to say this in English. An exemplary woman who can find she is more valuable than pearls. Her husband's heart trusts in her, he will lack no benefit. She will repay his favors, not his insults, in all of her life's circumstances. She searches for wool and flax, and her hands work adroitly. She becomes like the merchant ships. She brings her bread from afar. She rises while it is yet night. She gives sustenance to her household and portions to her maidservants. When she sets her mind upon a field, she buys it. With the fruits of her labor, she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and vigorously exerts her limbs. When she discerns that her wares are good, her lamp is not extinguished by night. She sets her hands to the distaff, and her palms grasp the spinning rod. She stretches out her palm to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. She need not fear for her household because of snow, for her entire household is clothed in scarlet. She makes bed coverings for herself. Linen and purple is her garment. Her husband is well known in the city gates as he sits among the elders of the land. She makes clothing and sells it and offers belts to the merchant. Strength and beauty are her garment. She smiles as she faces the future. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is upon her tongue. She watches over the conduct of her household, and she does not eat the bread of indolence. Her children rise up and extol her. So does her husband praise her. Many women have excelled, but you have surpassed them all. Charm is false and beauty, empty breath. A woman who fears the Lord, she is praiseworthy. Commend her for the fruit of her hands, and let her deeds praise her in the city gates.
We're going to hear from family, relatives who will deliver words of hesped, fitting words by those who loved her and who are best. First, Susie, Jeff, and Laura, who will come up together, followed by Ari, then Esty, and then Lonnie.
Our mom was born in 1935 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and grew up in a warm, close family. Her parents owned a neighborhood grocery store, and one of their customers was Golda Meir long before she became Israel's prime minister. Her father, our grandpa, was a well-known trumpet player who performed with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and even played music for silent movies. Our mom played the violin and always had music in her heart. Our mom sang to us and our children always. She had a beautiful voice and loved music. When she moved to Park Plaza, she loved going to the music class with Lindsay, where she was the star participant. She knew every song from all different genres. Even when she was getting very forgetful, she knew every word to every song and sang along. Lindsay always tried stumping her with an oldie, but Mom knew every tune and word to every song. Our mom and dad were married in February 1962. They lived in Chicago, and I was born shortly after. My mom created a loving, frum home, making sure Jeffrey, Laura, and I attended day school, Mosheva, B'nai Akiva, Ida Crown, Skokie Yeshiva, and we each spent a year in Israel after high school. Our mom and dad get the credit for all of their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren currently getting a Jewish education and following in the examples they showed us. Our mom and dad were wonderful examples of Jewish parents who filled their homes with love and caring. Our mom and dad were the definition of true love and partnership. They had the kind of love that showed us what it means to be devoted, to be kind, and to truly enjoy each other's company. My mom drove my kids to and from school every single day. The kids loved that time alone with Bobby, and my mom loved it too. She came on our family vacations, and honestly, half the fun was watching her have fun. The girls shared a bed with her, which was one of the highlights of the trip. She always had the best time and was so happy being on vacation as a family. I'm so grateful that Mike and I and our kids have those special memories.
Our mom's greatest joy was family. Nothing made her happier than being together. She came for Shabbos sleepovers all the time, usually bringing her famous meatballs. Mom never missed a chance to love on her children and grandchildren. This morning, Josh reminded me that she took each grandchild for a special one-on-one dinner with Bubby. Mom came to every sports game and never missed a visitor's day at Camp Mosheva. She even once brought her homemade veal chops to Mosheva at a grandchild's request. Mom joined our family vacations too. One that needs to be talked about is the time we spent a weekend in Wisconsin on our way to Camp Mosheva for Visitor's Day. We went with a couple other families, and at some point we found ourselves on a sand volleyball court in a competitive family game. Mom was determined to win and didn't hesitate to dive for the winning shot. This was when she was 80. Our mom adored her siblings, Joyce, Sandy, and Shelley. She spoke to Joycey every morning. I loved overhearing a recap of her previous day. They told each other everything. Although he was 6 foot tall and lived to a ripe old age, Mom called Sandy her kid brother until the day he died. Nothing made Mom happier than being with her sister and brothers, and she so looked forward to Thanksgiving when all her siblings and their families would be together. Thanksgiving was mandatory in our family. I think it was the holiday Mom loved most. Being with her siblings and their families brought her so much joy. Mom, along with our dad, had friends who were as close as family. Our parents, the Kirschners and the Prices, vacationed together and had a standing Saturday night date that often lasted until the early hours of Sunday.
For my mom's, for my mom's 80th birthday, we wanted to do something special, so we got an ice cream truck to come to Park Plaza. Because if you knew her, you knew she loved ice cream. We all had so much fun sharing her favorite treat with her favorite people. She wore a big birthday crown, and we got her a special birthday t-shirt that she proudly showed off to all of her Park Plaza friends. My mom was my '1 fan. Never did a day go by that I didn't talk to her on the phone at least once, if not multiple times. It wasn't that I had to call her, it was just that I needed to talk to her every day. So sorry. My mom was a musical genius, and there's no doubt in my mind that my daughter Kayla got her musical abilities from her. Sorry.
Do you want me to finish?
Nope. Mom found meaning in everything she did. A small volunteer job creating an ad book for Hillel Torah turned into a 40-year career as secretary to the president at Skokie Yeshiva. Mom was 100% dedicated to the yeshiva. So many of the students called her Bubby, and the office ladies and Rabbeim were her community. She attended the rabbis' kids' weddings and spent many Shabbos meals at their homes. Mom was the strongest woman. Despite the loss of our sister Lonnie and becoming a widow in her early 50s, she always plowed forward, making sure that her family carried on together.
Mom, you're at peace now, and together with Dad, Lonnie, your siblings, and your friends. We're not sure how we'll go on without you, calling you, lunches together, vacations, visits, and so much more, but we're going to try because you showed us how. Thank you, Mom, for being the best mom ever. We were honored to be your children.
First, I want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you to Rabbi Gelman and Rabbi Liebtag for being there for my parents, my aunt, and my uncle during this difficult time. And thank you to everyone who texted, called, and reached out. It truly means so much to all of us. Feeling the love and support from our family and friends has brought real comfort as we remember and celebrate Bubby's incredible life. As my mom and Jeffrey said, she had a challenging life. She lost a 3-year-old child, Lonnie, and soon after her husband, Ray. But she didn't let tragedy define her. She thrived. She built a strong, tight-knit, incredible family. My Bubby was a staple in my life, someone I truly loved and cared for deeply. Over the past 24 hours, I felt so sad, and I kept wondering why. She lived a long, beautiful life, 90 years. She got to be such an integral part of my life, my siblings, my cousins, and even my children, her great-grandchildren. Yet here I was walking my dog yesterday crying. I'm forever grateful that I pushed myself to go visit her one last time Sunday night, and that means the world to me. My cousins and siblings all know I love to show off and be the center of attention at every event. Bobby always heard me say, I made you a grandmother. You wouldn't be a Bubby without me. I think what hurts most is that knowing what this means to my mom, Uncle Jeffrey, and Auntie Laura. They lost their mom. Today, I want this to be about remembering only the best memories of Bubby. It was hard telling my kids that Bubby passed away. They didn't know her like I did, but they knew she was important. They knew she was the matriarch of our family. Lily played bingo with Bubby for years at Park Plaza. RJ, Zeke, and Sally visited her often, and even baby Serena got to meet her great-grandmother this summer. Every Sunday, my kids would go to drumming with Bubby at Park Plaza, and those Sundays became such special memories for them. I want my kids to know that these tears are happy ones, tears of gratitude, of memory and love, tears that remind us of how lucky we are to have had such an amazing Bubby. My mom always said Bubby helped raise us. She really did. Some of my best memories are Friday nights at Bubby's apartment. Almost every single week, we gathered there for Shabbos dinner, and Bubby made the greatest meatballs, the kind that no one could ever replicate. And her veal chops, unbelievable. But we only got those when Esty asked for them. Bubby was always loving and present. It's just who she was. She never missed an event, school plays, assemblies, visitors' day. If someone she loved was there, so was she. She also made sure to spend time with each of us individually. Bubby would take each grandchild out for dinner, just one-on-one, so that we could have that special quality time together. She wanted every grandchild to feel seen, loved, and important. I was reminded of this when I was talking with my cousin Josh. He remembered going with her to Slice of Life, and I remember going with Bubby to Taboon. Those moments might seem small, but they mean everything. They show how deeply Bubby cared about each of us, not just as a group, but as individuals. One of my favorite memories is when I brought Sarah, my wife, into the family. We got engaged in February, and just a month later, she joined the Steins in Florida for her first Pesach. Sarah was so excited to show off her baking skills. She made homemade pasted chocolate chip cookies. After the seventh-day lunch, she whispered to me that we forgot to serve them. So I quickly plated them and proudly served Bubby first. Bubby took one bite and in front of everyone said, "Ugh, who the hell made these?" That was Bubby, honest, hilarious, and full of personality. Some of the best memories we all share as cousins were our amazing summer trips to Lake Geneva. Those trips gave all of us, the cousins, a chance to bond and grow closer. They built the foundation for the tight connection that we still have till this day. That bond is a reflection of Bubby. She brought us together, and she's the reason we've stayed that way. I have so many more memories with her. I probably can go on forever. She took me to Israel, just the two of us, when I was in 4th grade. I spent countless Pesachs at hotels because of her. She also bailed me out of a lot of trouble in high school. She was basically my get out of jail free card, since she worked at the yeshiva and was well loved and respected there. I got to borrow her car and see her every day. That's something I didn't take for granted. I had the privilege of living with Bubby for a few years during college. I was nervous at first, but it turned out to be the best time. She gave me complete freedom, but we also became closer than ever. I'd make sure to be home by 5 for TV dinners and popcorn on the den couch, watching Jeopardy together. She was a total Jeopardy master. Once a month, when she hosted Mahjong, I knew I was kicked out of the house that night. I'd wait up for her after her nights at the Marriott Theater. She loved those musicals. One thing that brings me joy is what my cousin Ray said to me recently, and he said it best. Bubby's back with her husband Ray, her baby Lonnie, and her siblings. That thought brings comfort. Sarah and I actually named our oldest son after her husband, our third son after her brother, and our baby Serena after her sister. Why? Because we wanted to make Bubby happy and proud. It was our way of showing how important family is, because that's what she taught us. Family first. Bubby loved ice cream, and like Jeffrey said, we even got her an ice cream truck for her birthday a few years ago. She loved fresh popcorn with seasoning while watching Jeopardy and the news, but what she loved most was family. It doesn't go unnoticed that her grandchildren and even some great-grandchildren talk every single day and have an active group chat. That closeness is her legacy. As my mom said best, Bubby made the greatest family. She built this. So today we celebrate a life well lived, a life of family, resilience, humor, and love. Bubby, you built something extraordinary. We love you, and we will carry you with us forever.
Trying to get through this. I wanted to start by asking Bubby for Mechila. To me, Bubby was a third parent. She helped raise me in every way, and because of that, I treated her like a parent, both for the good and for the bad. As my parents can attest, I can sometimes be short-tempered or quick to respond. And I want to ask Bubby for forgiveness for those moments and for anything else I may have done. Bubby was like no other. Although she did not have an easy life, she made it her life's mission to live life to the fullest. She had a remarkable ability to make each of her children, 12 grandchildren, their spouses, and her 12 great-grandchildren feel unique and deeply loved in their own way. Although the horrible disease of dementia slowly took Bubby from us over the past few years, I consider it a small bracha that I was able to take the time to truly process and reflect on the incredible life she lived. I could talk about her many accomplishments in the Chicago Jewish community and the tremendous impact she had at the yeshiva, but to me, Bubby was someone even more. She was there for every significant moment of my life. She was at every siddur and chumash presentation, every basketball game, every school event, no matter how big or small, and she even flew around the world to visit me, both in New York and in Israel. I feel so lucky that she was able to be at my wedding and the beat of my oldest son in New York. She never wanted to miss an important event in our lives. Not only was she there for every event, but I had the privilege of seeing Bubby every day, as was mentioned before, as she was the one who took me to and from school. When Bubby would pick us up, she had Radio Disney preset in her car because she knew that's all Rayleigh and I wanted to listen to. Over the years, she learned every single Miley Cyrus and High School Musical song just for us. At the end of each school day, we would walk from Hillel Torah to the yeshiva, and Bubby would be waiting for us with our own VIP special office set up to do our homework. We'd spend our car rides laughing, singing, and catching up on our days. I feel incredibly fortunate to have had those memories with her. The Stein family always likes to joke about who is the favorite. And Bubby, I feel so lucky that everyone knows I was your favorite oldest granddaughter. And as the favorite oldest granddaughter, I had the honor of sharing a room with Bubby every Pesach and on every vacation, moments I will always cherish. Bubby loved spending special time with her grandchildren, whether it was doing puzzles, playing backgammon or cards, or teaching us her favorite songs. She always found ways to make each moment together meaningful. Although I often found her songs silly or old-fashioned as a child, I now feel grateful that she taught them to us. They became the things she held on to and used to connect with us until her final moments. As was mentioned many times, Bubby was also an incredible cook. Every one of her grandchildren can attest to sneaking into the kitchen on a Friday night to grab a few extra of her famous meatballs from the pot, even after they've been served. We'd fight over the last ones every week. Bubby never said no when we asked to make her when we asked her to make us something special. If we requested a favorite food, she would change her Shabbat menu just to make it for us. One summer, when she was coming to visit me at Mosheva on Visitor's Day, I made one such request. While all other campers were asking their grandparents for candy or Dunkin' Donuts, I jokingly asked Bubby to bring me her veal chops, as was mentioned. Sure enough, when she arrived, there was a pan of veal chops waiting for me. That was Bubby. She gave with her whole heart. I wish the last few years had been different, but even as her memory began to slip away, she continued to make everyone around her feel special. Even when she didn't fully recognize someone, she never wanted them to know that. She always had a smile on her face and found a way to make people feel loved. I truly appreciated that about her because although she didn't get much time with my 3 children, she made them feel so deeply cared for. My oldest son, Jack, shared his memories of Bubby with me before I left to come here. He told me how much fun it was when Bubby gave him and AB rides on her walker and snuck them candy when I wasn't looking. She just wanted to make us all happy. I feel so lucky to have had Bubby in my life for the past 35 years. My hope is that all of her children and grandchildren, who, Baruch Hashem, are all here in this room today, will continue to carry on her legacy of love, joy, generosity, and family. I love you, Bubs. I already miss you so much.
Bubby, I love you. It's impossibly hard to be here today speaking at your funeral, but I'm honored to say a few words. And I'm honored to be speaking on behalf of my siblings, Kayla and Riley, too. We love you. Bubby, you were the best grandmother imaginable. You were a true matriarch. You created a beautiful family and cultivated a close, loving, loyal, loud, crazy, wonderful, tight-knit family. A huge family with your beautiful children, grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. What a full family. And just as you were so close with your three siblings, I see the same close dynamic in my dad and Auntie Laura and Auntie Susie. They are the best of friends. You lived an inspiring life and set such a great example for me, my siblings, and my cousins. You were constantly surrounded by so much love, and you were the source of it all. Now for a few memories. Riley loved playing bingo with you every Tuesday night with my dad at Park Plaza. My dad used to bring a case of ice cream every week, and as a few of us have mentioned, you loved ice cream. You were obsessed. And he was also happy that he got to have his bar mitzvah at Park Plaza. You were so proud of seeing him and so happy to be there with the whole family. You kept bragging to your friends at Park Plaza about how that was your grandson who read from the Torah, and we're so proud. Some of our favorite memories are of you sleeping over nearly every Shabbos growing up. It was so much fun. Every Shabbos, we'd do puzzles together, and you loved puzzles. And every Shabbos, I'd conveniently need to run to the bathroom in the middle of our puzzle, and during these trips, I'd steal a few puzzle pieces to hide with me in the bathroom. See, the thing is, Bubby, you were so much better than me at puzzles, and way faster, and would never slow down and let me put a few pieces in. And so we'd continue our puzzle and get disappointed at the end to realize a few pieces were missing, and then I'd quickly disappear to the bathroom to go check something real quick. And somehow the puzzle pieces would magically reappear and I'd get to place them myself. I did the same bit every single Shabbos, and you always played along. You slept with a wrist brace at night because of your carpal tunnel. And Kayla used to sneakily try on your brace and pretend she had an injured wrist. She loved faking injuries. Another favorite memory of Kayla's was making your famous Pesach rolls and matzah balls together. She was your assistant in the kitchen and loved making these with you. Also, as been mentioned so many times, Bubby, you loved music, and Kayla bonded with you really closely over your shared love for music, listening and singing together. Bubby, you had some incredible recipes that earned you some family fame. Your honey cake that you made for Rosh Hashanah was unreal. Every year you made so many honey cakes for the entire family, and our family was so obsessed with your honey cake that we had to cut it up into quarters so we each could have our own section. I hid mine away, of course, so it wouldn't get eaten by the other scavengers who'd finish theirs right away. Once you were no longer able to make the honey cakes, my parents went to work on trying to recreate your famous recipe. Over the years, they've made probably more than 100 honey cakes, trying and failing and refining and tweaking and honing the recipe. And it was never perfect until this year when they finally nailed the recipe and it tasted just like your honey cake. When I made mine and tasted it, it brought me so much joy and nostalgia. It was my first taste of Bubby's honey cake in years, and I find it very fitting. It's almost as if you wanted to make sure we had it down perfectly before you moved on. And now my parents made it for the whole family, and Kayla made some for her friends, and I made some for myself and Nate. And this tradition will live on forever, along with so many others that you paved the way on. Bubby, your strong, loving, nurturing, sassy, stubborn, and funny spirit live on in me, my siblings, my cousins, and your children. Every time I do a puzzle, I think of you. Every time I play solitaire, with a deck of cards, of course, not a phone app, I think of you. Every time I eat ice cream, I think of you. Every time I make honey cake or matzo ball soup, I think of you. Every time I'm too stubborn and tenacious to give up on something, I think of you. Every time the entire family gets together, we all think of you. Your memory is alive in all of us, and I know you're still with us in spirit. Say hi to Zadie and your daughter Lonnie and your siblings for us, please. We love you, and we always will.
I was pleased to learn the end of the honey cake saga. Yesterday, I just learned the first part, which was that the recipe had been handed down, but nobody could replicate it adequately. The only way to continue a tradition is not by being handed down a recipe. You actually have to be modeled how to do it. You have to witness it. You have to be in the presence of greatness to replicate greatness. And for my part, I could tell you that I feel the community and those of us who knew Elaine, who got to know her tangentially, and every now and then, through Susie, through Jeff, through Laura, the many visits, we felt that we were in the presence of someone great, of someone remarkable, of someone special. The vision that I'm going to paint for you now, some of it you've heard, I'm just going to kind of reassemble it, but through the eyes of the children, is a vision of those who sat there and were with her, by her side for so many years. And this is the story they shared with me. Elaine was born in 1935 in Milwaukee to Gertrude and Louis Berzin. Together with her siblings Sheldon, Joyce, and Sandy, she grew up in a warm family. Elaine was the third of four, and she was the last surviving of the siblings. With her passing, an entire generation has now come to its close. The next generation, Susie, Jeff, Laura, you carried the torch forward. She attended University of Wisconsin. She later moved to Chicago in her 20s, along with her sister Joyce, as Laura shared, remained not only a sibling, but a lifelong best friend. Elaine met her beloved Raymond at age 27 at a party. I think it was a Friday night oneg, I believe it was. They connected instantly. He later called her. They began dating. They quickly fell in love. Their Masader Kiddushin was the legendary Mechanech from Chicago, Rabbi Reuven Levinson Zal. And although, as the family recounts, an additional rabbi had to be listed as the officiant since Rabbi Levinson had not yet received his smicha formally. Elaine did not come from as traditional background as Raymond, who was himself a proud day school graduate, a rarity in 1940s. Yet she fully embraced his insistence that children ought to receive a Jewish education. Jeff said that the quote was, "No one will be denied a Jewish education." 3 generations later, and look around, and that commitment continues. Shlomo HaMelech called this a chut ha-meshulash. Chut ha-meshulash lo b'mehera yinotek. A 3-pronged rope will not quickly pull apart. 3 generations, 4 generations now, continuing strong because of that dedication. Elaine and Raymond built a beautiful family. They raised their 4 children, and Alana Zal, of course, who is now with him. Although Raymond may have given the initial push towards a more observant home, it was Elaine who possessed that extra spark of Yiddishkeit. She became the matriarch. She became the frummi of the family in the way that she did so magically, cooking for an army, opening her home to guests, preparing every family simcha, serving as both caterer and party planner for brisses, l'chayims, ofrofs, pidyon haben, a bas mitzvah, a bar mitzvah. Every milestone, Elaine was the centerpiece. She loved her children fiercely. As Jeff recalled, Mom never missed a basketball game of mine. She was always there, cheering loudly. When the kids went to Camp Moshava, I'm told that she wrote a letter every single day, a tradition that Laura also continued with her own family. Elaine knew deep sorrow as well. After losing her daughter, their world was shaken. From mourning to joy, they were blessed with Laura, with whom everyone describes became the gift to the family, the nechama, the comfort after the tragedy. Perhaps this helps explain why Laura was allowed to be a little more spoiled with candy, a custom that I heard that Elaine happily extended to grandchildren as well, always promising that the extra bit of candy stay between them. Tragedy struck again when Ray passed away, while Elaine was still in her 50s. Yet with remarkable strength, she encouraged her children to live fully, to study, to grow, to build their own families. She never revealed to Laura how terrified she was of letting her go to Israel. She simply refused to allow her own pain to hold her children back. As the Eshes Chayil she was, Elaine forged ahead, Yontif after Yontif, Simcha after Simcha. Every occasion was a reason to gather family close. I just saw in the other room, as we were preparing to walk in, the entire family, all the grandchildren, even some great-grandchildren, sitting around in a circle, sharing memories, laughing, crying together. That legacy of family together continues. We were told that Thanksgiving was sacred and that no one ever missed it unless they were overseas. I heard a remarkable story that she would prepare a tape recorder. So that way the day's chatter would be recorded, and she would mail the tape of the people talking and laughing and whatever was going on in the background. That great chaos, that comforting sound of home was then sent to Eretz Yisrael so people could listen in to Thanksgiving. The sense of family she created was extraordinary. Susie, Jeff, and Laura visited her or called her every single day, multiple times sometimes. Jeff said, we didn't call her because we had to. We called her because we wanted to. Good news was always the first thing, was always shared with mom before it was shared with anyone else, sometimes to the chagrin of various spouses. The grandchildren, too, grew up inseparable. There was this family expression, sharing mom. Each Shabbat, Elaine would rotate homes. And they pointed out that when you married into the family, children would say you became a Stein. You became part of that mishpacha. Elaine was also a true friend. As Chazal tell us, Aselecha Chaver, we heard about her closest circle, including Sheldon and Rita Kirshner, the Prices, and Sheyichyu, the Parsofs, Saturday nights, the wild social gathering until 2 a.m. And when Ray was sick and he was dying, Sheldon spent the entire night outside the hospital room reciting Tehillim through tears. Shom Hafke le'ircha kol hayom v'kol halayla. And Laura, you would not leave last night outside the room during the Tahara. That mark of friendship was forged in devotion. That continues to be an insignia and a legacy of hers. Elaine was primarily a devoted stay-at-home mother, but her talent for organizing was quickly noticed. She managed an ad book for Hillel Torah, her first mistake. That led the Hebrew Theological College to recruit her, first as a volunteer, part-time, and Jeff pointed out, close to 40 years. I remember when they honored her after that tenure. She was honored by the yeshiva dinner. In her own way, like her husband, they helped build schools. They helped strengthen communities. Not only Hillel Torah and HDC, also by extension now in Ari Crown, Adas Yeshurun, and so many other shuls that their children and grandchildren continue to inspire. Kins, KCT. Elaine was the life of a party. She was joined each year in Florida for the girls' trip, 3 days of fun in the sun with Susie, Laura, and Vika. No matter the circumstances, including the occasional hospital visit, Elaine remained upbeat and game for anything. She loved mahjong, she watched sports and Jeopardy, and she was famously competitive and was very not pleased when the family once decided to go on Family Feud without her. And lastly, music. What a beautiful passion. Blessed with a naturally beautiful voice, even playing violin when she was young. As the memories faded, the lyrics of every song still remained strong. Even at Park Plaza, she attended all those concerts that she could. At the end of her life, she waited for all her children, including Susie, who was mid-flight, who made it in time to say goodbye. I was zocha to be there in the room with Laura and Jeff as they recited Vidui, the confession, and we sang Eshes Chayil together. And I'll tell you that your grandmother, your mother, she opened her eyes. She made a few sounds, and I believe it was her voice gently reaching for the melody, trying in her own way to sing along one last time. In this week's Parsha, Parshas Lech Lecha, Hashem asks Abraham to take a step into the unknown, to walk forward with courage and with faith. El haaretz asher areka. Go to the land I will show you. What will I show you? I don't know. It's yet to be discovered, the Mefarshim point out. Elaine walked her entire life with that same courage into the unknown, with trust in Hashem, through love, through joy, and through much heartbreak. And now she takes her final Lech Lecha, returning to Raymond, to her daughter, her parents and siblings and her friends. How we wish she could send us one more cassette from Shamayim, filled with the beautiful noise of that reunion. and perhaps she already has, and the values she instilled and the lessons we just heard about, and the loyalty she nurtured, the way she taught each of you to hold tight onto one another. That message, her message, the message of Lechacha, keep going, keep growing, and most of all, do it together. That will be her everlasting legacy. Tehei nishmasa tzrua b'tzur hachayim. Now I'm going to call upon Mike Nussbaum to recite the Kel Malei Rachamim. I ask everyone to please rise. It's going to be that one. You have the name of her name. Put in here, which is Itamindel.
Thank you.
El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamatzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShechina, B'ma'alot Kedoshim U'Tehorim, Kuzo Harakia Mashirim, Lenishmat Itamendel Bas Aryeh Leib, Shehalacha Leolama, Ba'avur She'eten Staka Be'ad Haskarat Nishmata, B'gan Eden Tehei Menuchata, Lachen Bal Harachamim, Yastireha B'satir Knafav Leolamim, B'yitzror HaChaim Et Nishmata, Adonai Hu Nachlata, B'tanuach B'shalom Al Mishkava, V'nomar Amen. God full of mercy, who dwells on high, grant fitting rest beneath the protective wings of the divine presence, where the souls of the holy and pure ones, whose radiance is like that of the heavens, reside. To the soul of Elaine Stein, who has gone to her eternal reward. Insofar as I will make a charitable gift in her memory and her soul, may the Garden of Eden be her resting place. For this reason, may the ever-merciful one shelter the deceased under his protective wings forever, and may he bind her soul in lasting life. For the Lord will surely be her benefactor, so that she can rest in peace in her allotted place. Let us say Amen.
You may be seated for a moment. The interment will take place at Waldheim Cemetery. For those who will be driving to the cemetery, we'll be lining up in our parking lot. We'll be placing a magnetic flag on your vehicle, and we ask to have your headlights and hazard lights on while in procession. At the conclusion of the interment, the family will be returning to the Stein residence, 4243 Greenwood Street in Skokie. There are times for Shiva and for Minyanim. Those times, and when the family does not want visitors, are in the service folder that you received when you arrived, or on the website that you joined for the live stream. The family asks you please respect those times and do not come at the times that they asked for you not to come. The following individuals have been asked to act as pallbearers: Ari Nussbaum, Nathan Nussbaum, Ray Galtz, Josh Galtz, Daniel Cantor, Mike Nussbaum, Jeremy Galtz, and Nate Healy. If we can have everyone please rise and the pallbearers come forward as we escort the casket from the chapel. Once we've left the chapel, we ask everyone in attendance, if you're going to the cemetery or not going to the cemetery, to please go immediately to their vehicles.